Okay, so what are we talking about today? We're looking at the consistent, ongoing attack on democracy that we were seeing, and the question, are we going to have fair elections coming up in November? So let's start things off with the Donald Trump tweet. Yesterday, May 9th. So in California, the Democrats who fought like crazy to get all mail-in only ballots and succeeded have just opened a voting booth in the most Democratic area in the state. They are trying to steal another election. It's all rigged out there. These votes must not count. Scam. Okay, so couple of things. We're going to dive into this, but a couple of things here. There's already details of some lies going on in here. First of all, it is not the most Democrat area in the state, right? There's definitely a Democrat presence, but there's a Republican presence there as well. And as someone who lives in California, there are areas of this state that are very red. There are areas of this state that are very blue, and that is an area where you definitely get a bit of a mix. So let's break things down here a little bit, and let's kind of look into that. Okay, so from The Independent, we've got Mayor Rex Paris, a Republican, actually assisted the district in creating a safe voting location for the special election on Tuesday, not the governor. So this was not being pushed by the Democratic governor. This was largely organized by a Republican mayor. All right, so let's look at a similar article from CNN. So to quote the CNN article, Lancaster Mayor R. Rex Paris, a Republican who supports Garcia, backed the change. So Garcia is the person running in this district that Trump wants to win. It's the Republican that's running for that seat. But what he's saying is that the Democrats are trying to basically make sure that their candidate gets in by allowing people to vote. This is the big thing. So the Republican mayor, Rex Paris, who supports Garcia, right? He's a fan of Garcia, is the one who organized this voting station that Trump is so upset about. This is something the county should fix immediately, Paris told the LAist this week. There should not even be the appearance of affecting the outcome by limiting the ability to vote. I want Mike to win. I think he'd be a better congressman, but I don't want to jimmy the election, Paris said. So right here, we have this Republican mayor coming out and saying, yeah, I want the Republican person to win, but we're not going to wreck democracy in order to do it. That's the line that the president doesn't understand, is he's a results-oriented type guy. You win or you lose based on, at the end, do you win or lose, right? Is this Republican going to win? If so, that's a win. Anything else is considered a loss. So whatever you have to do to get that Republican in office, including destroy the democracy, is okay in Trump's opinion. Here, I get it's a much smaller position, but it's a Republican position. So the mayor in this area was elected as a Republican. So this idea that it's the most Democrat area in the state, not even close. Okay, not even close. So we've got Republicans alive and well here, Republicans in office, Republicans in government, actually organizing to make sure that democracy is actually protected. And in this day and age, you're not seeing a whole lot of Republicans protecting democracy. So good job, Mayor Rex Paris. Keep that up, okay? Keep doing that. All right, and we've seen this video clip before, but I just want to bring it up again because it pretty much tells you the whole story. People can go back and argue about what the president means when he says certain things. He lays it all out. There's no interpretation here. He just straight up says his feelings on democracy. So let's have another listen at what goes on here.
An email from Kevin for you, Mr. President. If there is another relief bill, how can we stop lawmakers from dipping into it again for special interest projects? Man, we were just talking about this. Do you want to expand?
Okay, so before we get to the president's response, I just want to point out that the question was about special interest projects, and Trump is going to respond about voting. So in his mind, he is connecting special interest with voting. Not that voting is a right that every American should have, regardless of what party you're affiliated with. That's out the window. Voting is a special interest project that is just there to be played with. It's a toy thing that you manipulate, right? Not voting is a right that every American should have, right? It's already disgusting, but we'll see where this goes.
Can we stop the next one?
It's just the common facts. I mean, they have a majority in the House, and therefore you need their vote, and they want to get certain things. I will tell you this. If you look at before and after, the things they had in there were crazy. They had things, levels of voting that if you ever agreed to it, you'd never have a Republican elected in this country again. They had things in there about...
I mean, he just, there's the game right there. He just said it all. Levels of voting that if they got it, we'd never see a Republican elected again. That's the facts right there, right? The more voting that takes place, the more the will of the people is carried out, the more the Democrats win. So the move right now is for Republicans to restrict voting. It's happening across the country. It's happening everywhere. The uncertainty that is brought by this virus is only helping the Republicans because they're trying to stop this kind of voting, because as Trump just laid out, it helps the Democrats. The Republicans lose when people vote. That's why there's this attack on democracy, because the Republicans want to win. So they fight you at the ballot box. They keep you from being able to vote. There is no good evidence saying that we should not be able to vote by mail, and yet the Republicans are trying to stop it. I mean, in a normal situation, vote by mail should take place. It happens in a number of states, right? Oregon does it. It happens in Washington. When I lived in Washington, I voted by mail. I'm voting by mail in California. I believe Colorado now has some at least some large areas where there's voting by mail. And yet we're not seeing evidence that it is unreliable, that it is corrupt, like is being proposed by the president. And yet what we are seeing, which is undeniable, is that the Republicans are trying to attack voting and make sure that less people can vote. Okay, so they're turning it around like usual, calling the group, like you're blaming your opposition for doing what you're actually doing, right? So they're saying that the Democrats are attacking the voting rights when it's actually the Republicans that are doing it. So I would like to point out Gavin Newsom's thoughts on the subject. Quote, elections and the right to vote are foundational to our democracy, Mr. Newsom said in a statement. No Californian should be forced to risk their health in order to exercise their right to vote. Now, okay, he's a Democrat governor, but this kind of statement is not partisan. This is what every governor in every state should be saying. Yes, all the people in my state have the right to vote. We're going to make sure that they can vote. We're going to make sure that they're not risking their lives by voting. We're going to make sure that it's safe, secure, and that everything is done by the books, because in this country, we're supposed to be run by democracy. We're supposed to have a voice. We're supposed to have the right to vote. And Newsom sums it all up here. I mean, how are you going to attack that statement? Look at Trump's statement. Look at Newsom's statement. Newsom is clearly trying to protect the rights of the people. Okay, so I'm sure this isn't the last time we're going to talk about this. I'm sure it's going to come up again, probably weekly between now and November. But democracy is kind of a big thing. If you've been watching these videos, you know I keep bringing up the democracy because, in my opinion, when we lose the democracy, we lose everything else, right? All these ideas that we're fighting for to try to help the people of this country, none of that has any chance of happening until we secure democracy, until we know that every American citizen gets to vote in elections. Whether you're in a poor neighborhood where they're trying to shut down polling stations, all those people need to vote. Or you're in an area where you can't get to the polls, or you're old, or you're sick, because now we have this virus going around. All people that are citizens in this country need to be voting in the next election. Okay, it's that simple. And we're seeing this basically on a weekly basis where Trump and the Republicans are attacking this right to vote. We saw it in Wisconsin. We're seeing it in other places. There's a number of court battles going on right now. We need to make sure that people can vote. So if you find yourself siding with McConnell and Trump and these people, the things they have to say about voting, please just stop, look yourself in the mirror and ask yourself, does it really seem reasonable that American citizens should not be voting? Okay? It's hard to argue. It's a hard point to take. So we're going to keep seeing this. This isn't the end of this. We're going to be talking about democracy all the way up to November and probably past November. We'll be talking about this democracy and this attack on democracy. So, put a bookmark in this because we'll be back to it soon. So thanks for watching the video. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can check out all the new videos as they become available, and we'll see you in the future.